at the time that I'm filming this, I have a little over 28,000 subscribers. So this is the 30,000 subscriber special. I don't know if it'll actually be published right before or right after or whatever with regards to the actual number of subscribers. But here goes. I'm going to make this up. So this is a tie-dye pen. Using Total Boat's casting resin. Using 3 different brands of powdered pigment. Cobalt Blue, Austin Yellow, and Granny Smith. To get the colors that I'm thinking will work, I don't actually have the pen in my hand. So this is kind of a guess for making this block up first. I've made a small little mold. It's quite a bit bigger than it needs to be, but I like to have extra space in the top. It's 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, I believe. 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches. And that gives me plenty of material to work with for this particular pen. So let's go ahead and get started and make up the resin. Okay, I've got the mold in a little container just in case, because I'm pretty sure it's going to leak some. So I'll go ahead and pour these in one at a time. I think I'll start with the darkest first, so we'll go with the blue. And I do have some extra sticks laying around, so I can kind of do a little swirl pattern or something inside. We'll see how it works. I do have a mark inside here, a little blue line. That is about 1/8 of an inch over the square for the block that I'm using. So I have an idea how far up I need to go with each color or how I need to do it. Alright, looks like some is leaking a little bit, but I'm not really sure where. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the green to pour on top, since that's the one I have the most of. Just going to do a little bit down the center, just to bring it completely up to that line. And then we'll do another little swirl across the top. And I'll let that sit. We'll see how it turns out. So I had quite a bit left of each color. I decided to go ahead and make up it's about a 3/4 inch diameter tube out of acetate, or transparency film, whatever you want to call it. And I've made up some more epoxy, just so I can have 2 of these to work with. I'm going to go with those 3 colors, and then I've also got the alcohol inks. And I'm going to go ahead and add some of the gold to this one. And and stir this up. Alright, we'll go with that. And I'm going to go ahead and pour these into this. It needs to go up to that mark. And I'll let that sit. Alright, thought I'd get a final shot before these are left to cure overnight. Here's this one. It's almost got a peacock looking color scheme to it, at least on the side that we can see. Who knows what it is throughout. And then this one doesn't quite look like that in real life. It looks nuclear on the camera. And here's pretty much the best I can get. See what it looks like. Now, from experience, the colors change as it cures. Guess we'll see what it looks like when it's demolded and put on the lathe to turn into a pen. So there's a few results because I actually did a couple more after what was on the video. Here's this one, which I think is going to work the best. One I showed on the video, I believe, was this, just more greens and blues, and then this, which I'm not sure if the blue extends much past that, but I guess we'll see. And then I did this too, which is a gold, black, and white, I believe. It actually went through, so we'll see. So I thought I was going to use this one because it actually matches the tie-dye pen the best, but I wasn't considering that it's 24/64 of an inch for the tube. That doesn't leave much around the edge, so I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. Might end up having to use this since it's substantially larger, but I guess we'll see what happens with this. I've already cut one end off and I'll finish up the rest. I'm going to go ahead and trim the end off so that it's to length, and then into the drill press it goes. Trying to drill the hole out. Now there is a bit of a problem with this one. As you can see, the whole thing shattered when it was coming through. So I super glued it back together and then I finished the cut. For the round version, went ahead and cut the end, found the center, started drilling through. I did not cut this one to length so that I was sure that I wasn't going to rip through the bottom side, since it's a little more fragile for the epoxy. Once that's finished, I go ahead and check the length twice and then cut it to length, and no tear out. So I go ahead and glue in the brass tubes into both of those, let those set up, and then make sure I cut the ends so that everything is nice and flush. And off to the lathe. I turn it down until it's a cylinder, and then I just start shaping until it's what I want it to look like, really. I sand it down from 150 to 600 grit, and then I wipe it down, and I realize there's some small holes. So I finish the sanding up, make sure everything's finished there, and then I clean it off and add some CA, medium viscosity or so, fill those, accelerate those, and then go ahead and sand again, and then go to micro mesh and work from, I believe it's 1500 grit on up to 12,000 grit. Wipe that all off, and then I apply a polish compound. It's a friction polish, so it is turned at a high rate and you get a super gloss finish. As you can see here, it turned out really nice. A lot of depth to the color. And then I basically do the same thing to the cylinder. Turn it down to round, because even though it's round, it wasn't true, so start that off and then begin the shaping. You do want to make sure when you're doing it that the end cap and the clip are actually going to fit properly. So I do take it off, or I took this one off to make sure everything was going to fit, because it was a little bulky, so I had to turn it down a little more. So I sand from, again, 150 or 240 on up to 600 grit, and then switch over to micro mesh wet and sand that from 1500 to 12,000 grit. I clean that up and then do a high polish with the friction polish again. And as you can see, that turned out really nice as well. A lot of depth on this one too. So here are the two results. And I'll go ahead and put the pins together. Alright, overall I'm happy with it. I could have done a better polish. But other than that, I think they look really good. As always, thanks for watching.